I'm guessing you're here because it's Marina and you're still contemplating how you're going to get fishing 27. And lucky for you, I know a method that doesn't take 50 hours, minions, or you just having absolutely no fun at all. In fact, this method makes a little bit of bank and will take you around 2 days to complete. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so right before we begin, I just wanted to mention I will be uploading a ton more this month because I need to hit 2.5k by the end of the year. Because if I do, I kind of made like a deal that I would get my friends G-Drag. So yeah, please like and subscribe. It just means I'll be making better content as a whole. Yeah, back to your video. So if you're a newer player, this setup will take a little bit of time to get into due to the fact you will need Combat 22 to unlock the starter Lava Rod, as well as Fishing 20 to actually unlock the sea creature you'll be killing. But after you get this, everything is very smooth from there on. And if you're under Fishing 20, I recommend that you go to the Jerry Island because this month it's just going to be opened. And you get a bit of sea creatures that will give you slightly more XP than the usual sea creatures. So go ahead, if you've got these requirements, just keep watching the video. So the fishing method I'll be talking about today is all about fishing in the Crystal Hollows. And you may be wondering why you're fishing in a mining area, and that's because the Crystal Hollows has its own sea creatures. And the sea creatures will drop a lot more XP than the usual water sea creatures, as well as being a lot more common, and generally actually being the only mobs that you can spawn from fishing there. So what I'm talking about is the lava sea creatures, specifically the lava blaze and lava pigment. And these two mobs can be spawned out of the lava in the Crystal Hollows, and in fact no other sea creatures apart from these two can spawn there, which means that you will only be getting these two sea creatures, making it a lot more consistent and a lot faster at getting XP than all other methods. So if you reach fishing 20, like I was talking about before, if you do that, then you unlock the Lava Blaze Sea Creature, which of course drops you 500 XP each time you kill it. And that is a ton compared to the around 70-ish of a Sea Walker, and generally just having a lot more consistency. In fact, if you got a good amount of fishing wisdom, you'll be getting about 1.5k, well, possibly a bit less than that, but about over 1000 fishing XP each time you kill one of these. And that, if you think about it, is absolutely incredible when you realize that you only get about 3k from a deep sea protector, which is already incredibly rare when you're water fishing, and you get them so much more common than you get deep sea protectors, and generally that adds up to a ton of XP. So with a Booster Cookie, God Pot, and Squid Pet, you'll be getting some good rates out of all of these sea creatures and getting about 1.5k per kill. And all you need for this right now is a starter rod with regular enchants and just basically maximize fishing speed, as in a glowy mush tonic, which is that potion you get from the farming islands, as well as fish bait, which is of course the best fishing bait in the game. And with all this, you should be getting about 200k XP per hour, but later I'll be talking about how you can buff these a ton more. Okay, so generally, where will you be fishing? So as I said before, you'll obviously be fishing in the lava in the Crystal Hollows. But then if you think about it, most of the lava in the Crystal Hollows is generally near the magma fields. And if you're standing in the magma fields without a bow pet, which you definitely don't want to be using, then you'll be taking damage every once in a while. So specifically, you'll want to have these lava pools, such as this one right here, that is like half in the jungle and half in the magma fields, because this means that you can just stand here without taking any any flame damage or fire damage, and generally just fishing. And there we go, we got a pigment right there. So as you can see, if you just stand here, you can get a good amount of sea creatures per hour, and the basic setup you'll want when you're doing this. So if you get yourself some cobble, you want to build yourself a little hut of the sort, and generally as long as you've got a hut that's got a spawning area and a killing area, it just helps a lot because it means your mobs won't be escaping a lot. So if I make an example of this, you'll want to have cobble around here like this, and your bobber to go down there. So if you've got the bobber underneath the cobble, so you want it right under the cobble, and so when the mob spawns, it will get trapped around on top of the cobble. So if I do that, oh, I didn't get anything, but so what you'll want is really a big chunk of area here, above the lava. Make sure not to block the lava out, and just fill up the entire spot around here. And then if you've got like a nice amount of space here, then you just chuck that there. And what this does is that when the mob spawns, it will basically mean that you won't have the mob right in your face every once in a while. And that basically means, oh, I didn't get that right. It basically means you won't have to kill it all the time, and it just makes everything so much more efficient. If you're wondering, I'm just using a texture pack for the lava. It just makes everything nicer when you're fishing. But if you do this, then when you do that, oh, I didn't get a sea creature. But when you do that, generally what it will do is that it won't go through the blocks and into you. It just stays in this chamber right here. And then it just, it's supposed to stay in there. But if you fish with a better angle, then you should be able to have the mob around here. And sometimes you may have to mine up a bit of the cobble here if you want to kill it, if you're not using hype, which you probably shouldn't be. And if you're doing that, then you should be getting some nicer rates per hour, and it just makes a lot more, just makes a nicer amount of XP, and it's a lot more convenient when you're doing your fishing. So that's just a thing you should keep in mind. And yeah, it helps quite a bit. So when did they add this message? That's just weird. So right now, 200k XP per hour is definitely not sufficient for your causes, because you want to be getting to fishing 27 quickly. And I've got a good method for you that I figured out just a bit ago, and that is, of course, rod swapping. So if you don't know what rod swapping is, it's basically like sword swapping, but with rods. So what you'll want is not just your starter lava rod. It doesn't matter what sort of like lava rod you have right here, but generally any lava rod here, and then having any other rod with a lot of fishing speed on it in like a slot near it. And what you'll want to do is to hotkey. So from the rod with your fishing speed, minus the shredder because it's kind of cheap and it's pretty good. What you want to do is quickly swap to your magma rod and then cost your bobber. So basically like this. And what that does is that it brings the fishing speed from your shredder all the way onto your magma rod. So I didn't do that right there. And what that basically does is that then you do your fishing a lot faster than if you're just using a starter lava rod. And that, of course, makes your rates a lot faster. Because think about you using a starter lava rod to fish in the Crimson Isles, and then think about you just using your normal fishing rod to normally fish. Because a starter lava rod will take you a ton of time to actually fish up a single sea creature, while your shredder or your any other like rod with a good amount of fishing speed will give you a good amount of sea creatures per hour instead of those goofier like 2 per minute things. So if you do this, you'll be getting around 400k XP per hour. And that is of course a massive amount, seeing that you only need about 4.7 million XP to get to fishing 27 from level 0. And of course, since you're starting this from fishing 20, you'll be doing this a lot faster, and you'll be getting this in at least at max 2 days. And that's just absolutely insane if you think about it. And then after that, you'll be able to start doing Marina. And that's just great, because then you've already got fishing 27. You can fish whenever you need. And now you also know how to rod swap. So I guess that helps a little bit when you start fishing. So generally, there's a little bit more extra gear that you probably want after you do all this. And that's mainly having an Ammonite pet, because if you're fishing underground, your fishing speed is going to be absolutely awful, because it's that little thing where if you fish under a block, it just makes it like 50% slower. So get yourself an Ammonite. It gives you a very nice amount of sea creature chance, and it just makes sure your fishing speed isn't absolutely abysmal. Then second of all, you definitely want some fish bait and your mushy glow tonic, which you obviously, I said before, you can get from the Mushroom Islands. And finally, yeah, as soon as you get more items, use them. And yeah, as soon as you hit fishing 27, stop this method immediately and go lava fish, because you'll be making so much more from just normal lava fishing in the Crimson Isles. So I guess, yeah, now you've got everything sorted. Turn up your Minecraft music, get on YouTube and watch some Skyblock videos, and possibly the one I posted yesterday, which was about how you can get from fishing 27 to fishing 50 incredibly quickly. So yeah, Marina's going to be here for another few days, so good luck with your fishing grind, and I guess I'll see you in the next video.